शं नो मित्रस्यं वरुणः शं नो भवत्वर्यमा शं न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ओम शांति शांति शांति. Lesson number 102, the planets and karma again. Here again Master is telling us, when we are existing in the three lower principles, the being exists in the pairs of opposites, that are the polarities. When we are living in the first three principles, the lower kingdom, automatically the pairs of opposites, that are the polarities, will work on us. In such conditions, the effect of one planet will give an inimical effect to another planet, because the combinations are not yet achieved by consciousness. What happened when we are living in the three lower principles? What happens? We definitely will be influenced by the aspects of the planets. Why we are influenced by the aspects of the planets? Because we are not trained naturally in our consciousness to work with the original and natural principles of the planets. So there are good planets, there are bad planets, or benefic and malefic planets. I explained to you many times, benefic planets means planets by themselves they are not benefic, planets by themselves they are not malefic. The planets in our horoscope, which indicates the good results, the good aspects, a good karma from our previous birth, those planets are called the benefic planets. Those planets who indicates the bad karma from our previous births, these planets are called the malefic planets. So what happens when we are living in the lower kingdom, lower three principles, the effects between the benefic and the malefic planets, they will affect our life. Master has given an example here. Suppose there is a water and there is a fire. When we are not able to use the fire and the water in a proper way, in a natural way, what we do, what Master is explaining here, what we do without knowledge, either we put the fire in the water, then what happens? The fire will go. Or if you put the water on the fire, what happens? Again the fire will be off. That means we are not able to operate these two things, fire and the water, in a separate way by understanding their natural phenomenon. The wise man, what he will do, he will put the fire and then put a kettle on that and pour the water, and the water will be boiled, and then we can prepare the tea or coffee or any medical liquids or anything. Or sometimes he will boil the water, still the water become the vapor. When he is having some lung problems or any other problems, he will take this vapor inside to make the alveoli of the lungs a little bit open so that we can breathe well. So if we can use, if you know how to use the elements in a natural way, we can use the combinations of these two. When we are in the lower planes, we cannot use the combinations of these two, and even otherwise they will work in an opposite way also. That's how Master explained here. What he is explaining here, in such conditions, the effects of one planet will give an inimical effect to another planet, because the combinations are not yet achieved by consciousness. For example, a boy is given some fire and some water. The boy may throw the water on the fire, or he may throw the fire in the water, or he may throw both upon himself. That does not mean that fire is bad. We see that the boy can burn his skin with a fire or die by jumping into the tub of water. It is not the fault of either water or fire. As he grows older, he learns that he can heat the water and fire. He can use the water for washing and for his cooking or for making coffee or tea. It also the same with the planetary effects. So here, this is a very wonderful understanding here about the aspects between the planets. So there are many aspects. We dealt with all the aspects in our first level. Conjunction is the 360 degrees aspect between the two planets, because that means when two planets are in the same house within the orbit of 5 degrees, it is called the conjunction. If there is a distance of 60 degrees between two planets, it is called the sextile aspect. It is a benefic aspect. If it is a 120 degrees aspect, a distance between the two planets, it is called the benefic aspect. If there is a 90 degrees aspect between the two planets, it is called the malefic aspects, because the negative qualities of the two planets come into operation and they precipitate our previous bad karma into the life. Again, 180 degrees is also another malefic aspect. Opposite, if two planets are opposite to each other, we call it also malefic aspect, like 90 degrees. It is according to the Western astrology. But according to the Indian astrology, things are different. I don't want to, when we go into the predictive side only, we have to deal with the aspects of the Indian astrology and the aspects of Western astrology, how to operate them, how to give the predictions in the background of either Indian astrology or the Western astrology, then things will be different. So for our purpose, for spiritual astrology, you need not go to such details what we deal with your predictive astrology. So when you are learning through the evolution, though the two planets are with the different temperaments, or the aspect is the malefic aspect, we, birth by birth, when we are passing through the evolution, and our consciousness is passing through the evolution, we will learn how to combine these two different aspects into one. That means mix of milk and coffee powder. If you know how to mix the coffee powder with the milk, we can make a coffee and we can drink it. Like that, any two things with a different taste or different temperaments or different phenomenon or different whatever it may be, when we come into one aspect in your evolution, we will try to bring them together, the commonness or goodness of what is there in those two things. That is what Master is explaining here. That's why I know many people in our group, when Master E.K. was there, he used to, when the two people approach him for the marriage, generally in the compatibility, in the horoscopes, what we will do, we will try to find out the harmonious aspects between the two individuals, or between the two ascendants, or between the two suns, or between the two moons, or between Mars and Venus and Jupiter and Mercury and Sun and Moon. We calculate so many things to understand whether these two people can live together harmoniously, happily for a long time. When the planets are in the opposition or in inimical thing or whatever it may be, there are certain calculations are there. Though they love each other, generally what we tell them, it is not a very good compatibility, it is a compatibility of emotional life. You cannot find a real understanding between you when you go further after 1 or 2 years. You will fight each other and you will separate, and it is not a good match for to go for any marriage. So like that, but when we come into the spiritual side of astrology, or spiritual side of life, or yoga side of life, when the two individuals, a boy and girl, they are totally dedicated to the master. And if they wanted to live in the kingdom of the masters and work for the masters, then you know what master will do? He will bring the two different attitudes of the people, different temperaments of the people together, and they will encourage them to go for marriage. Why? Because he knows very, very well that they are living for a higher cause, they are living for a higher purpose. Though their temperaments are not equal, though their thinking patterns are different, though they are having different temperaments in their life and way of doing things in a separate way, but why Master bring these two into one in the marriage? Because that the training for them in this particular life to bring the commonness between these two people into one, into harmony, and they have to understand how to operate the planets, how to operate the life, the real life, how to understand each other, how to compromise with each other, how to understand with each other. Jalkul says is loving understanding. What Jalkul used the beautiful word. They have to develop these things into their life by sacrificing their own point of view for the other's point of view. This is another dimension of the life of a disciple when we find a great master in our life. So this is how we have to operate with the aspects of the planets in our life. So it is a practice that makes one perfect. The practice is what we call human evolution. Human evolution is nothing but the practice. Every life gives us a practice. Every birth gives us a training to us to wash up all our previous karmic links and bondages and to create our own life, create our own future, create our own destiny by creating a purposeful and meaningful life with all love and service and cooperation with the nature, with the angels, with the devas, with the masters, with the earth. It goes on like that. So, when one is in the three lower principles, the planets will have their good and bad effects. Among the good effects, there are two types. Master is differentiating between the two good effects. Natural good effects are one type. Achieved good effects are the second type. Natural good effects are one type. Achieved good effects are the other type. So Master EK teaches us in a very, very, very practical way. Natural good effects, they will come to us by birth. They are default. As a default, they will come to us by birth. Achieved good results means, good effects means we have to work for it. We have to train ourselves for it. You understand the nature, you have to understand the great people, you have to understand the divine plan, and you have to cultivate some good habits and good attitude. They are the achieved good effects of the second type. Nature automatically gives us some good effects of planets in proportion with the experience we gained in the previous birth. Whatever good deeds we did in our previous birth, whatever experience we had in our previous birth, whatever the good karma we did in our previous birth, those things will come to us by birth into this particular birth. Those are called the good aspects between the planets in our horoscope. When there are good aspects like 60 degrees or 120 degrees between the planets, by chance, if it is a good aspect between the two benefic planets like Mercury and Jupiter, or the moon towards the full moon, like that, and Mercury, that means we say this boy and this girl is born with a golden spoon in their mouth. That means they are so lucky, they are born in a very good family, a spiritual family or a rich family, a family with power and money and comforts, own house, own vehicles and fixed properties, and their entire life, not entire life, their childhood or up to their education, or that maybe, depend upon the planetary periods, they live a very happy and harmonious and very luxurious life and a happy life, healthy and wealthy life. That is what we get from our previous birth, previous good karma. Okay, that is what we call the karma of the previous birth. These good effects are naturally given to us by the planets, can be understood by the good aspects in the birth horoscope. For example, the trine aspect, 120 degrees between two planets, and the second structural aspect, 60 degrees distance between the two aspects. Suppose when we wanted to see the horoscope, first of all we see the aspects between the planets, the aspects between the benefic planets and the aspects between the malefic planets. And suppose if you find a lot of the planets in the sextile and trine aspect, 60 degrees and 120 degrees aspect between the two planets, especially between the benefic planets, what I explained to you already. That means we can say very easily to them, you are a blessed one, You are blessed by the devas, or you are blessed by the angels, or you are blessed by your parents, or you are blessed by the nature or heavens. We can use a lot of words because we can see the sextile aspect and the trine aspect between the two, between the benefic planets. So you can ask me one thing, is it a lifelong aspect? No. Why? Because when the planets are progressing in our horoscope, 60 degrees aspect become 90 degrees aspect after 30 years of time. So what happens? This 60 years, 60 degrees aspect when it becomes 90 degrees aspect, it is a not so harmonious, a difficult phase coming to our life. Like that, it goes on like that. So don't take it as it is, but you can generally understand when there are good aspects in the plan, in the good aspects in the horoscope. Generally, they are so lucky. How far and how long we have to calculate the periods of the planets. So this is the master explained us of the natural good effects and the achieved good effects. We have to understand how to make use of the natural good effects because it is our strength. And also we have to cultivate the good effects to achieve the good results in our life. It is for the future. So we are making use of the past and bring it into the present, and then we are using that good karma as a background, as a platform to our future good karma. This is the practice through the spiritual astrology. We have to read the horoscope with this background, and next class I will explain to you the next lesson. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahi mahishaha gobrahmanebhya sumastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.